She watched her boss stand in front of senior leadership on a live stream, presenting 4 months of her work, slide by slide, word by word, and she could not do a single thing about it. The following week, he got promoted for it. And I promise you, this story gets so much worse. Okay, so let me paint the picture real quick. We've got a woman, 6 years deep in corporate environments, knows exactly how the game is played, keeps her head down, does exceptional work, the kind of person who doesn't cut corners, the kind of person who documents everything, not because she's paranoid, just because that's how she operates. That detail is gonna matter more than you can possibly imagine right now. Then we've got her boss, technically attached to the project, checks in occasionally, nods, contributes nothing of actual substance. A human post-it note with a LinkedIn profile. For 4 months, she had been building something serious. A full client retention strategy for their company. Original research. Surveys she designed and ran herself. A deep competitive analysis. A full presentation deck. Dozens of slides. Built completely from scratch. This wasn't a light lift. This was her brain. Her time. Her labor. Every single piece of it. Her boss knew it existed. That's basically all he knew. So the big presentation to senior leadership is coming up. It's set for a Tuesday. The day before, her boss messages her asking for the final deck and all the supporting files. Last review before the big day, he says. She doesn't think twice. She sends everything over. She was not invited to the Tuesday presentation. I'm sorry. She was not invited to the presentation of her own project. The project she spent 4 months building from absolute zero. She found out what was happening because a coworker texted her in real time. Her boss was in the main conference room, in front of senior leadership, running through her slides, her research, her data, her 4 months. There was an internal stream running. She watched the whole thing. Okay, but can you imagine sitting there, watching a man explain your work, your ideas, your research, to the people who decide your career? And she's watching him and she knows. She knows he could not answer a single follow-up question in depth if anyone pushed him. Because he wasn't there for any of it. He skipped the working sessions. He nodded at the updates. He did nothing. And yet there he is. Under the lights. Taking the bow. The following week, he got promoted. The company announcement explicitly cited the retention strategy as the reason. Now, here is where most people would absolutely lose it. The angry email. The HR complaint fired off on pure adrenaline. The confrontation in the hallway that you immediately regret. And honestly, no judgment, because that impulse is real and it is valid. But she didn't do any of that. She went home that night, and she made a decision. Not an emotional one, a strategic one. She pulled out every single piece of documentation she had built up over those 4 months. Every draft file, time-stamped, her name embedded, every email chain showing her progress updates, her check-ins, her work, every calendar invite for the working sessions her boss had skipped. The paper trail was, by her own account, essentially bulletproof. Not because she'd built it for this moment, but because she always worked this way. Always. The trap was already set. She just had to spring it. And here's the move. Instead of marching into HR guns blazing, instead of sending the furious message, she requested a meeting with a senior leader who had been in that presentation room. She framed it simply. She wanted to follow up on the project outcomes. Professional. Completely routine. Nothing alarming about it at all. You think that's it? You think that's the whole play? Oh no. No. Wait until you hear what happened in that room. She walks into that meeting. And she starts talking about the work. But here's the thing about talking about work you actually built. You can't fake it. You can't fake the fluency. You can't fake the details that never made it into the final deck. The side notes. The dead ends you tried. The decisions you made at 11 p.m. on a random Tuesday because the data wasn't landing right. She talked about all of it. The senior leader is listening. And you can see the math starting to happen in real time. Then the senior leader mentions her boss's presentation. She pauses. Just for a moment. And she says, calmly, that she's glad the work landed well. That she'd put a great deal into it over those 4 months. Then she placed the documentation on the table. Timestamps, emails, drafts, all of it laid out. She didn't accuse her boss of a single thing. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't make it dramatic. She just walked through the paper trail, quietly, methodically, and let it speak for itself. She made it impossible for anyone to question who had actually done the work. The senior leader went quiet. Long pause. Then, has this been raised with HR yet? Quote, it hadn't, but everything was organized if that step became necessary. Within 2 weeks, a formal review was opened. Not by her, by the senior leader. Now the company kept the full outcome confidential. Because of course they did. That's how these things go. But the results? Oh, the results were visible. Her boss was quietly moved sideways. New role. No direct reports. The promotion title that had appeared next to his name in the company directory? Gone. No announcement. No explanation. Just gone. And her? She received a compensation adjustment. A new title. And her new manager, the person now directly overseeing her work, had been copied on her project emails from the beginning, had always known exactly what she was capable of, had watched her build the whole thing in real time. The karma was so clean it hurts. But here's the part that actually got to me. After the presentation, before she'd done anything, some colleagues, women she genuinely respected, told her to let it go. That this was just how things worked. That making noise would only damage her reputation in the long run. And she understood where that advice came from. Those women had learned it the hard way themselves. She didn't blame them for passing it on. But she also couldn't shake this one thought. When we keep teaching each other that silence is always the safer path, we do each other a quiet kind of harm. She kept her emotions off the table. She had the evidence. She was professional at every single step. And it worked. Completely. Permanently. Without a single dramatic confrontation. The lesson she wanted to leave behind was simple. Document everything. Not because you expect to be wronged, but because the day you need it, you will really need it. Okay, here's where I need you to weigh in. She never confronted him directly. Never raised her voice. Never went to HR herself. She let the senior leader open that door. She just built an airtight case and placed it calmly on a table. Do you think that was the right call? Or should she have gone straight to HR the moment she watched that live stream? Drop your verdict in the comments. Because I genuinely want to know where you land on this one. And next up, we have a story that made our entire team speechless. Full silence. Nobody said a word for like 30 seconds. You do not want to miss it. Subscribe so you never miss a single drop of drama. Stories shared on this channel are inspired by real experiences posted online. All details have been anonymized and rewritten. Any resemblance to specific individuals is coincidental.